So a lot of people ask me why I haven't gotten a job in over 2 years when I could be making a six-figure salary as a software engineer in Silicon Valley. And the short answer is I've been selling software on the internet since 2012, and after a ton of trial and error, I eventually figured out how to make money. Even though I don't make a ton, once I got to the point where I was making enough to sustain myself, I just valued my time too highly to go and get a job. I'd rather work on something that I think will give me more long-term gains. Now, if you're new to this channel, I talk a lot about the products that I've worked on in other videos, and in this video, I want to explain how my approach to entrepreneurship has changed over the years, and why it took me over 5 years before I was making any decent amount of money. I want to show this by showing you one of my failed startups from a few years ago, and talk about how I would do things differently if I was working on it today. I know a lot of programmers who have trouble turning their side projects into businesses, and I had a lot of these challenges myself, so hopefully this video will help you guys out. First of all, I want to put out a disclaimer that one reason why it took me so long is because the first 4 years I was in university, and 1 year after that I was working full-time. So I didn't go all in on entrepreneurship until 2017. But I don't think it's that useful advice to just go and tell someone, hey, you should go and quit your job or drop out of school. I'd rather focus on the more tactical advice. So let me show you a game I made in 2015 called Super Aquarium. When I was in university, I really wanted to start a game studio because I saw all these stupid mobile games like Flappy Bird make a ton of money. And I was like, oh, if those guys can do it with that, then I should be able to make a ton of money too. And this is a big red flag right here. Even though I've played video games my entire life, I didn't like mobile games. I was just doing it because I wanted to jump on the trend. And if I was making a game now, even though I don't do it anymore, but if I was to make a game now, I would do something that I would want to play myself. For example, if you watch my old videos, you know that I really was addicted to Dota Auto Chess earlier this year. So maybe I would do something in that genre. When you build something for yourself, you have a much better intuition for how to design and market the product. And this is better than any kind of market research that you can do. The concept of Super Aquarium is that you're managing an aquarium and you want to grow your business as big as possible by going fishing and then collecting different species of fish to add to your aquarium. I basically mashed together two mobile games which were pretty successful, Disco Zoo and Ridiculous Fishing. And the end result was just really weird. To be honest, I don't even remember why I thought this was a good idea. And that's probably because I didn't think too deeply about why anyone would want to play this game. I just thought that I was making something pretty cool, but I couldn't convey that to anyone else. So I want to show you this email. It's a cold email that I wrote to a game publishing company to pitch this game back in August 2015. And if you're not sure what a game publisher is, basically, poor and broke indie game developers like myself at the time can't afford to market our game with much money. So these publishers will pay for the marketing and in exchange get a percentage of the revenue and sometimes ownership of the IP as well. Let's take a look at how I pitched this. Mobile publishing proposal. Hi, my name is blah, 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 blah. Okay. The core game loop involves spending coins to go fishing, which adds different species of fish to your aquarium, bringing more visitors and generating more coins. Here's a quick rundown of two core parts of the game. 1. There is an aquarium management aspect similar to Disco Zoo, blah, blah, blah. 2. The fishing component plays like Ridiculous Fishing except your blah, 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 blah. I've already implemented some monetization methods, blah, blah, blah. I really want to make this partnership work, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is really bad. I was trying to convince this publishing company to spend a lot of time and money marketing my game, and I didn't even explain why it's a good game. I just explained the mechanics. At the very least, I should have said something random and funny like, this is the game where you can fulfill your long lost desires of hoarding fish in an aquarium or something like that. At least that would have been more attention grabbing. If I was making a new game today, I would make the one sentence pitch before I make the game. And I would make it drastically different from any other popular game out there. For example, it could be something like, this is a fishing game for live streamers, where the streamer is the fisherman and all the viewers in the chat get to control a fish. So then I could talk about how this will increase audience engagement for the live streamer. The point here is you got to push the envelope on game design so that you're different, because it's really hard to compete by being better than everyone else, especially when you're in the game industry where companies spend hundreds of millions of dollars to produce just one game. I worked on Super Aquarium full time for a month and a half, and the reason why it took this long is because I wasn't a very good artist, so these tiny little pixel art animations actually took me forever. And in the end, I actually only showed it to a couple of my friends who were not that impressed. And all the publishing companies that I pitched it to rejected it without giving me much feedback. I basically got into this endless loop of adding one minor feature after another. Like, for example, you can buy different food options for your customers, you can change the outfit of your characters, you can even hire employees to manage your aquarium for you. Basically, I was doing all these things while ignoring the big problem, which is this game design doesn't even make any sense. I just hoped that once I added enough bells and whistles, the product would eventually become good. But that is completely the wrong way to start a business. A lot of programmers I know have this habit of measuring their productivity in terms of the features completed, because this is what you do if you're working a regular software engineering job. But if you're working for yourself, you need to be really ruthless. You basically need to be your own product manager and always be asking, what's the most important thing that I need to be doing right now? And once you build those super important one or two features, you have to put the product in front of people and see how they use it and get their feedback. Because if you don't do that, you'll end up doing what I did, just constantly adding useless features and ending up with a product that nobody cares about and wasting a lot of your time. In the end, I never released the game, which is really sad because now that I look at it, this is actually much more polished than a lot of the products that I release these days. To be fair, the main reason why I didn't release it, even though it was so close to being finished, is because I had another game which got picked up by a publisher, so I decided to focus my attention on that. And even though I think it was right to give up on Super Aquarium, this is a month and a half of my life that I'm never gonna get back. Some of you guys might be thinking, oh, but this is a good learning experience. But if you think like that, then that's just a terrible excuse. You're gonna end up in a situation like me where you spend 5 years before you make any decent amount of income. And to be honest, for you, it will probably take longer because I just work a ridiculous amount. If I just focus on building the core mechanics of the game and shared it around in some online communities, like for example, the Game Dev subreddit, then either I could have easily saved myself a few weeks, or I could have even turned this into a good game. And this is the final red flag that I want to point out. Even though us programmers typically spend more time in front of a computer than anyone else in the world, we're usually not heavy social media users. This might be changing now with all these day in the life of a software engineer videos, but at least when I was in university studying computer science, I didn't meet any programmers who were trying to become an Instagram influencer or a YouTuber or something like that. And I think this is a huge missed opportunity because we're the ones who have to learn about algorithms and statistics and machine learning. So if anyone should be able to beat the system and use social media to our advantage, it should be us. But a lot of programmers would rather be the person building these technologies behind the scenes instead of the power user. And this is fine if you're just working a 9-to-5 job and you want to always be told what to do. But otherwise, you got to keep up with the times because these days social media is like one of the only ways that a startup can compete with a big company. You don't need a big budget or a lot of manpower to put out good content. You just need good ideas and hard work. I might not be the most successful entrepreneur, and I'm definitely not the best videographer, but I have my own unique perspective to share, and YouTube is the best way that I can reach out to as many of you guys as possible. So, thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video, and I'll see you in the next one.